Good evening, everyone. We are so glad to have you back for another episode of Bridging Paths. Thank you for joining us and making the time to be part of this conversation.
It's great to be here again after a fantastic start last time. So we are blowing our own trumpet, and we are saying that we had a fantastic start last time. We are excited to continue our Zoom series, which gives us even more opportunities to connect, share, and make these discussions feel personal. Before we dive in, a few items that we need to be mindful of. First, please stay on mute unless you are sharing. Just raise your hand if you would like to join the conversation. That will make us avoid speaking over another. Let's respect everyone's views and stay open-minded. Avoid talking over each other. We want to hear everyone's voice. If you can, try to find a quiet space when it's your turn to speak. If you are comfortable, we would love to see you. So feel free to turn on your camera. But again, optional. And we'll have a question answer session towards the end. So jot down any questions or thoughts you have along the way.
Now that we are settled, let's begin today's session a little differently. We want to start with a quick scenario. Imagine this situation. It's something most of us have experienced in some form. Niti and I will read out scenarios, and then one scenario Niti will read out. Then we will ask a few simple questions to help you reflect on how you might feel or react. That's no right. There are no right or wrong answers here. Just honest reflection.
Okay. So before I tell you the scenario, I would like, first of all, because I noticed the age group that we are in, we might have done this in our younger years, or we might see people around us doing it. What I want you all to do, simply feel the situation. Because again, we talk about emotional intelligence. Until and unless we feel it, we imagine that entire scenario, we will not be able to respond, uh, which responses will not be something that's true to us. So I'll request, please do not overthink. Go with your intuition, with your gut. And I hope we all are in here. So we'll present the first part of drama before the dialogue. Now, the scenario. Imagine you have been there for a friend. आपका सबसे अच्छा प्यारा दोस्त कोई भी हो जिसके लिए आप हमेशा उसके साथ रहे हो. You've not left the side of that one friend that you have. Maybe a friend or a very close relative, cousin, family member. So first of all, put that person in your mind. So when you have been there emotionally, physically, at times even financially supported them as and when required. So I hope by this time you have figured that one person you are closest to. Right? So
Yeah.
now, once you have imagined that person in your life, now you are going through a tough phase. There's a tough patch in your life. You share something vulnerable with them. You drop a hint, hoping they'll check in or offer support. So basically, आप तो सारा टाइम उनके साथ रहे हो, अपने दोस्त के साथ, या एज आई सेड आपका कोई बहुत अच्छा दोस्त, आपका कजिन, आपका कोई फैमिली मेंबर, जिसके लिए आपने अपनी प्रायोरिटी छोड़ के उनको अपनी प्रायोरिटी बनाया. You did that. Now, it is your turn. You are in a vulnerable and a loose state. आपने उनको थोड़े थोड़े हिंट दिए ये बताने के लिए somewhere you are disturbed. And you want it now because it's that kind of a relationship. सबको थोड़ी थोड़ी expectation हो जाती. Now you want that they give you that importance that you give them. But what you get in return is silence. Complete silence. They haven't even acknowledged your message or checked it. Okay. So
take a moment to absorb that. If this has happened to you, reflect on how you reacted. If not, think about how you would feel in this situation. Once the questions are up, I will display the questions. Choose the responses. Choose the one response out of 5 that feels closest to how you would really react. Feel free to share in the chat or just to note it down for yourself. You don't have to write in the chat, or because there are multiple choice. You can just click it, the right answer. You can just click it. I will share a link. Just I will display.
So basically, Chiradeep is going to share a link with all of you. Scenario आप लोग को समझ में आ गया? अगर नहीं आया, please let us know. I'll explain it, or we can even display the scenario.
I'm displaying it. It's better.
Yes. Understanding this entire scenario, we would want you to click on the link and answer those questions. Now, we will not be able to see your names.
Yeah, yeah.
आप क्या आंसर कर रहे हो हम लोग को नहीं पता चलेगा, ना ही किसी और को पता चलेगा. It's completely confidential. So, Chiradeep, I request you to share the link for the questionnaire also.
Yeah.
You can share that in the chat and they can start answering.
I just shared the link in the chat box.
We would request all of you to kindly click on the link and start answering. There are not a lot of questions. There are just 5 questions there.
Yeah, there are 5 questions. You can just fill it up, and in the chat box, you can say done after you finish answering 5 questions.
So either give us a thumbs up or in the chat box, start writing done.
Yeah.
I'll just repeat myself. We'll not be able to see your answers. We'll get the answers, but not your names. So feel free to answer. Shehzad says it's done. Thank you, Shehzad, for confirming. Priyesh also says it's done.
Sunidhi said done.
He also said done. Okay. We'll just wait for a minute or so for others as well. Pratibha says it's done. Prathamesh also says it's done. Chiradeep?
Yes.
Are we good to go?
Sorry?
Have you received these responses? Everyone has done.
Okay. I think somebody else, Bhanumati ji also joined. Rahul hasn't responded, probably. Yeah, Rahul has finished also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chiradeep, are you displaying this? What we want you all to do is just look at your answers.
Yeah.
Take a second to notice what you chose. क्या आपने select किया था? And as you do that, this is a request that I can make, that please do not judge yourself on your answers.
Yes.
Just notice them, please.
Ready?
Because as we said, that safe space, so no judgments here.
Yes. And whom to judge? We don't know the names. There is no question of judging.
I said judging themselves.
Correct.
It's not
Yeah,
be
yeah.
judging themselves.
You will
Welcome.
you will find many along with you, so you won't be able to, you won't feel like judging. Okay. The first question, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? So maximum 5 responses, 62.5%. Maybe they are busy. Okay. That's a good answer.
Okay. Next one. Do you consider confronting them?
Maybe later.
No, I don't want drama. I overthink. So we can see the responses there.
I hope you all can see the responses.
Okay, we can go to the next one, Chiradeep.
Yeah.
Do you replay past moments with them in your head? Yes. Only the moments I felt let down. I try to avoid thinking too much. Not really. I move on. Okay. We hear you. Before talking to them, have you already had an imaginary conversation in your mind? 5 people said yes, multiple versions. Just one clear version, and I imagine walking away instant.
Nice.
Good to know this.
And the last one.
Before having the conversation, have you already decided what will make or break it? 3 of you say, I'm not sure. Part of me has expectations. No, I'm keeping an open mind. I'm trying. But I'll still hear them out too. Wonderful. Thank you for being so honest with us and with yourselves.
Yes.
Yes.
That's wonderful. This exercise is really good. If most of your answers pointed to anger, hurt, or withdrawal, that might show how our emotions often rush ahead of the actual conversation. What do you say, Niti?
Absolutely. I am, first of all, really grateful for all of you to participate.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, I know it might get a little heavy for us. जब भी हम लोग ऐसी कोई भी सिचुएशन के बारे में सोचते हैं जो कि कुछ भी इमोशनली ड्रेनिंग होती है तो अच्छा नहीं लगता. But again, the purpose of this entire conversation is just to understand, is there any other way we can handle a situation? That's it. So if, as Chiradeep said, generally ये वाली सारी situations होती है that triggers anger, hurt,
Withdrawal.
and withdrawal.
Mm.
That we just do not want to. We give up. We give up on the relationship, we give up on the person, and of course on ourselves. So if your answers lean towards patience or curiosity, then maybe you're someone who tries to stay open even when it's tough. So yeah, that's a good place to be.
And then again, if your responses were a mix of both, that's completely human. Emotions swing back and forth, right?
Absolutely. So wherever we are, either the extremes of feeling nothing or feeling too much, or somewhere in the middle, wherever we find an hour in this graph, again, the idea is to try and think situation different. So the real question that we would want you all to ask yourself is, where does my mind usually go before a real dialogue even begins? क्या सोचते हो आप इससे पहले कि आप उस इंसान को कन्फ्रंट करो या उससे बात करो? Confrontation is also something which is negative. I would not even use the word confront. इससे पहले कि आप उस इंसान से बात करो, आपके दिमाग में एक्चुअली चलता क्या है? लेट्स थिंक अबाउट दैट.
Right. And another one to reflect on, if I have already written a story in my mind before talking to someone, am I really having a conversation or just replaying my own version of events? These things has to be kept in mind.
Which is very interesting. कि जब आप ऑलरेडी एक कॉन्वर्सेशन इतनी बार, एज मोस्ट ऑफ यू सेड, कि उसके मल्टीपल वर्जन आप अपने दिमाग में ऑलरेडी चला चुके, तो जब आप रियल कॉन्वर्सेशन करते हो, तो आर यू देयर इन द कॉन्वर्सेशन विद दैट पर्सन रियली, और यू आर विद द मल्टीपल वर्जन दैट यू हैव ऑलरेडी क्रिएटेड इन योर माइंड? आप हो कहां? एंड लेट्स पॉज फॉर अ मोमेंट एंड move into the main part of today's discussion. So this was just our context building. I hope we have got a little idea of what exactly we are trying to say. So let's start with something very simple but important, which is our emotions. So we say that we go through a turmoil. बहुत सारे emotions होते हैं जो हम लोग बहुत, या तो एक moment पे हम लोग बहुत सारे emotions feel करते हैं, yeah, obviously, throughout the day, we keep feeling something. So we go through joy, jealousy, anxiety, betrayal. So what is the root of all these emotions? There are 4 basic emotions that we as humans have, which is, as you can see, happiness, sadness, fear, and anger. Right? Now, when we feel happiness, it's often peaceful and clear. खुश है, बस उस टाइम क्या चल रहा है क्या नहीं चल रहा कुछ समझ में नहीं आता. हमारे एक्सप्रेस करने के वर्ड्स डिफरेंट हो सकते हैं. वी फील सैटिस्फाइड, वी फील ग्रेटफुल, वी फील एक्साइटेड. ऑल दीज थिंग्स आर आल्सो अ फॉर्म ऑफ हैप्पीनेस जनरली. सो ये सारे टर्म्स हम लोग हैप्पीनेस, सो दैट्स द मेजर बिग इमोशन, अम्ब्रेला नेम हैप्पीनेस. नाउ इफ वी फियर सैडनेस, तो क्या होता है? Sadness leads to anger, fear. We are triggered. Loneliness, hopelessness, regret, guilt. ये जब हम लोग पूरा इस टर्मोइल में और इस स्पाइरल में घूमते हैं, that's basic emotion behind us. We are sad. और ये एक इमोशन होता है जो हम लोग को हर एक सिचुएशन को ड्रामेटाइज करवाता है. We exaggerate, we overthink, we dramatize every situation in our head. Are we here till now? Are we here? I mean, all of you can give us a thumbs up.
Yes.
Thank you. Good to hear you, Banimati ji.
I just noticed it in WhatsApp. Otherwise, I would not have attended. You had cancelled it or something like that, no? And just now I saw your message in WhatsApp. So I thought already I missed the first part. But since you had already shared the scenario, I could catch up with it.
Thank you so much. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to continue.
Thank you. Okay. So instead of dealing with reality in front of us, we tend to overthink, assume, and project. What do? Our minds create stories, and often negative, before we have chance to understand what's really going on. So all the other emotions, even when we are going through anger, so these are the different emotions. Fear, these are the different emotions. So these are the basic 4 emotions: happy, sad, anger, fear. Different ways to express all the different emotions: anxiety, insecurity, panic. Right? So till here, are we together? और जनरली हम लोग ओवरथिंक कब करते हैं और ड्रामेटाइज कब करते हैं? नॉट व्हेन वी आर हैप्पी, डेफिनेटली नॉट, बट ऑल द अदर 3 पार्ट: एंगर, सैडनेस, एंजाइटी. When we are going through these 3 emotions, that's when we come out and we overthink. Right, Chiradeep? Are you also there with?
Absolutely. Instead of dealing with the reality in front of us, we tend to overthink, assume, and project. our mind creates stories, often negative, before we even have a chance to understand what's really going on.
क्योंकि वो चांस हम लोग लेते ही नहीं है ना.
Yeah.
वो चांस लेने से पहले हमारा दिमाग हम लोग को पता नहीं कहाँ कहाँ ले जाता है. So there is something that I had read that our mind is a terrible master. और जब भी हम लोग अपने माइंड को हमारे को रूल करने देते हैं, this is what happens. What is it? The internal drama.
Internal drama.
And the internal drama that is created, it affects how we respond to others. So now what we do, instead of reacting to the situation, what are we responding to? The drama that we have created in our lives. जब हम लोग अपने अंदर इतना कुछ सोच चुके होते हैं, हर एक कॉन्वर्सेशन को इतनी बार प्ले कर चुके हैं, प्लेइंग बोथ द पार्ट्स. अगर मैंने ये बोला तो सामने वाले ने क्या बोला, सामने वाला अगर ये बोलेगा तो हम क्या बोलें. ये ड्रामा हम लोग इतना क्रिएट कर चुके होते हैं अपने दिमाग में कि जब हम लोग सामने we have that conversation with the person, we do not even listen to the person. What we respond to is the drama that has been created. So emotions that we have can lead to misunderstandings before we even speak, before we even have that real conversation. So we'll make a pause here because I guess there is nothing that we can hear from the audience. So we'll make a pause here and we would ask that till here, is that okay? Are you people with us? जो हम लोग बोलना चाह रहे हैं, क्या आप लोग को समझ रहे हो? Are you all there with us? Is there something that you would like to add to whatever we have shared? Your experiences?
Yes,
Have you ever
I
gone
would
through?
like to add.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
Actually, it's not that all the sad, anger, fear, not all are bad. Every emotion has a purpose. So only if you get stuck in a particular emotion, then that is when you need help, or you can call it negative. Even sadness has a purpose, anger, of course, has a purpose. Fear, every emotion has a purpose. So you can't really call it negative. So because they do serve a purpose. And only when I'm stuck in a particular emotion, and then as your phrase, drama, only when my mind starts making drama and I'm not able to come out of it, I'm not able to handle it, that is when it becomes a negative.
True that, Bhanumati. That's what even we were trying to say, that getting stuck to an emotion and then playing it multiple times. Thank you for sharing that. Truly appreciate it. Anyone else who would like to add? At least, are we clear? Are we making any sense? जो हम लोग बोलना चाह रहे हैं, क्या is it making any sense? Have you gone through? Anybody? Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, any हाँ या ना या confused.
Okay, Pratibha says yes. Sandesh also says yeah. Okay, so at least we are on the same page. It was just trying to understand, क्योंकि हम लोग इतना बोल रहे हैं और आप लोग को लगेगा पता नहीं हम लोग कौन सी लैंग्वेज में बात कर रहे हैं. So it's better to check. All right, I'm sorry, Chirandeep, I interrupted you. And about to say something and I interrupted you.
No, that's fine, no problem. And while we go through these emotions like happiness के सिवा जब this negative emotions आता है, and that's where communication breaks down. We are not talking, not really talking to the person in front of us. Like जब ड्रामा शुरू हो जाता है, हम बिना बातचीत करे हम लोग का डायलॉग बाजी शुरू हो जाता है in our minds. And we are talking to the version of, and जब सच में जब मुलाकात होता है, we are talking to the version of them we have created in our heads. समझा क्या? Because
Yes.
ये ड्रामा पहले से हम लोग बना चुके हैं, सीन बना चुके हैं, डायलॉग्स भी बना चुके हैं, एवरीथिंग We are the director. I am the director. I am the producer. I am the
Story
script writer. Okay,
writer.
screenwriter or script writer, whatever you say. देन जब सच में मूवी रिलीज होता है, वो तो मूवी नहीं होता है, रियलिटी जब आता है, वी वी स्टिल इन दैट जोन. हमारा जो खुद बनाया हुआ जो जोन है उसमें रह जाते हैं. आई डोंट नो कब रियलाइज करते हैं. Probably we will understand our different situation, different person to person it differs. कब हम लोग को रियलाइज होता है नहीं, वॉट एवर आई हैव थॉट, जो ड्रामा मैंने खुद बनाया वो सही पटरी पे नहीं जा रहा है, समथिंग एल्स इज गोइंग ऑन इन रियलिटी. सॉरी नीति, गो अहेड.
No, Chiradeep, you said actually it made a lot of sense because ये सारा कुछ जब हम लोग लिख चुके होते हैं, when we have already created and replayed, do we even realize what has shifted in our head when we do it? What have we shifted? We have shifted our tone, our responses, and our attitude. हमारे हिसाब से, because it has triggered us to a level, it has created all the kind of negative emotions that we didn't want, but we have created because of our own thought process. So that's one of the major reasons. Our attitude, our tone has also shifted. It has also gone through a shift. Now, what do we do again? I am going to repeat myself. When we sit in the conflict, we are no longer responding to what the person is saying. हम लोग को कहीं ना कहीं उनके रिस्पॉन्सेस सुनाई भी नहीं देते हैं. हम लोग को वही सुनाई देता है जो हम सुनना चाहते हैं, जो हम क्रिएट कर चुके होते हैं. इसलिए जो हमारे रिस्पॉन्सेस होते हैं, व्हाट वी रिस्पॉन्ड टू इज बेसिकली द इमेजिनरी कॉन्वर्सेशन वी हैव रिवर्स्ड. All our responses are basis the imaginary conversations that we have reversed. So even we are there in that moment, we are not there. Emotionally, we are stuck in that loop what we have created.
Right.
Yes.
Right. And ऐसा करने से क्या होता है, जब आई मीन व्हेन वी इन अ रिलेशनशिप, इन ऑफिस सेटअप, प्रोफेशनल सेटअप और पर्सनल सेटअप, जब हम बातचीत करना शुरू करते हैं, वो कम्युनिकेशन आई मीन होता नहीं है. नो मैटर हाउ द अदर पर्सन ट्राइज टू कम्युनिकेट, our minds filter their words through the lens of the drama we have imagined, and it becomes less about understanding and more about proving our version of the story to be right. ठीक है, हम जितना भी वो दूसरा लोग बोले, अपना वर्जन को राइट बताने के लिए हम लोग जुट जाते हैं. सो काइंड ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन तो डिसरप्ट होता ही होता है. इवन रिलेशनशिप ऑल्सो स्ट्रेंस होता है. या व्हाट यू से?
Yes, Chiradeep, because somewhere जब हम लोग ऐसे करने लगेंगे तो सामने वाला हमारे इमोशंस को वैलिडेट तो करेगा नहीं, किसी और जोन में, हम लोग किसी और जोन में. तो अगर हम लोग अपने इमोशन को वैलिडेट करते हैं by proving that the story that we have created is correct, so we'll portray that. That is a protection that we do. Now, okay, let's picture another scenario here. So please be with me and let's try this once more. You have had a fallout with a close friend. So I am using friend. Please go ahead and fit any person who's close to you. At least for you, that person is a priority. All right? आपके दोनों के बीच में कोई झगड़ा, कोई मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग, कुछ भी होता है. Days pass. दिन बीत गए, and what you get is silence. Absolute silence. You do not get to hear from the other person at all. They do not reach out to you. In your mind, you replay the last conversation over and over. आपके पास और कोई point नहीं होता है वापस जाने पे. So what you do, the last conversation that you had, which was an argument, and you just keep
rehearsing that,
rewinding, and just playing that again. Somewhere, what do? You convince yourself, वो इंसान गुस्सा हो चुका है, वो इंसान गुस्सा है, या the person doesn't value as much as I value the person. हमारी वैल्यू उतनी नहीं है. Or we can go to an extreme by saying उसने तो कभी हमारी वैल्यू की ही नहीं, कभी भी नहीं की. We are the mad people or who were after them. We took care, over empathized, over loved, over given. सारा कुछ हमने किया, सामने से हमने को कुछ मिला ही. So each time when we replay this story, what is happening? What are we doing? Our doubts are becoming stronger. Our defense mechanism is becoming stronger. We are, every time when we replay, we are finding new reasons to hurt ourselves. Conversation एक ही, पर जितनी बार हम लोग उसको पुअर मी सिंड्रोम, यस, जितनी बार उसको हम लोग दोहराते हैं, उतनी बार we find a new reason and a new perspective to look at it, and we dissect every statement made by them.
Correct.
इस statement का मतलब शायद ये हो, and that leads to rehearsing the next conversation. Next time जब उस इंसान के साथ we get a chance to converse, what am I going to say? So here begins a battle in our head. We're already there.
And
Is it relatable?
sorry, yes, yeah.
Relatable.
Our audience would speak. Is it
Or just
relatable? You can just say yes or no. Just
Yes, again, I would like to speak. It's basically there are two things. If that person is very valuable to me, and then I think if I prioritize that friendship, then I think it is I who should take the first step to resolve the conflict, because not necessarily Niti may be Niti may be a priority for me, but it's not necessarily that I will also be a priority to Niti in the same level. Not necessarily. Human relationships don't work that way. But where the problem arises, based on my belief system, my values and belief system. Actually, REBT talks a lot about this. If I have a thought that people should, because I love Niti, Niti should also equally, if not more, if that is the belief system that I am carrying, the Niti is not at fault. It is my belief system which is creating problem for me. Then I need to challenge that belief system. Does it really work? She has a choice. I need to own a responsibility. What is my contribution towards the whatever misunderstanding or whatever has happened? Definitely it takes two to tango. It's not that I give 100%, she doesn't do anything and she just goes off. No, it doesn't happen that way. So I need to check what is my contribution towards it. So if I can challenge my belief system, and then if I can give her a benefit of doubt. See, it's not necessarily that because she's not getting in touch with me, there can be any number of reasons. But my main point is do MBA. That is, save your mind at any cost. MBA means my Guruji says, Man Bachao Andolan. You save your my Guruji keeps saying, do MBA karo, MBA karo. He didn't mean that business. He said, Apna man bachao andolan. You save your mind at any cost. So, and if you really value the friendship, you have to take the first step. You have to initiate a conversation. And then if you don't value the friendship, move ahead. Acceptance. Accept, and then active acceptance. If you actively accept, you have more choices in your hands. You can decide to walk away. But if you are passively accept, then that is you will react. You will not respond. So everything is in your hand. It is not in anybody else's hand. So heaven भी हमारे अंदर में है. Just as he was the, I am the hero, I am the villain, I am the heroine also. पेड़ में डुएट गाना भी हम ही को गाना है. झगड़ा भी खुद के साथ हम ही को करना है. So whatever I have it in me only. So I need to know exactly I want to do with any relationship for that.
Beautifully shared, Bhanumati ji. Exactly the point. But here, of course, confronting is one thing. जो हम लोग फोन उठा के खुद कर सकते हैं, बट द पॉइंट इज कि कई बार ये भी होता है.
But sorry to interrupt you. Why do you have to give the term confronting? Confronting itself is a very, very negative term. So I can
Confronting.
instead, if we can
Conversation.
rephrase it, rather than putting it as a confrontation, if we can rephrase it, contacting, conflict resolution. So there are better words to address this.
100%. My bad. My bad. Even when you pick up the call to talk to the other person, to
Yes,
clarify,
yes.
then also उस conversation से पहले, our focus is उस conversation से पहले आपके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है,
Exactly.
and how is it that we can try and skip that part. So
तो
the
MBA
main
करो.
Exactly. तो यही है जो हम लोग सारे जो the other people who have already said that they go through these phases. So we are just trying to first of all make it relatable कि आप अकेले नहीं हो, आप अकेले वो conversations अपने दिमाग में नहीं चलाते. We also do that. But here we have come together to understand: is there a way out? Is there a place? Is there a way that we can do MBA? क्या हम लोग सारे कर सकते हैं? MBA is funding, absolutely. So we'll also, that's the reason I am borrowing that term from Bhanumati
Yeah,
ji.
not from me, from my guru, Sri
From your,
Ravishankar ji. Man Bachao Andolan.
so the purpose is this. Can we do that? Chiradi.
Actually, the purpose which we explained when we explained in the beginning, our purpose, bridging paths. Okay. Our purpose is to not give solutions, but to make the participants realize what actually happens. Right. That's what we try to give our perspective. और इधर solution हम लोग निकालते नहीं है, but we try to focus more on how it happens, as Niti said, how it happens. वो उससे पहले कैसे होता है. जैसे even Madhavi also shared a scenario. वो जो questions है हम लोग का दिमाग में, वो ज्यादा जरूरी है. That question we need to ask, where I stand. Solution को तो बात की बात है. So like the scenario which Niti explained, उसमें जब फाइनली जब कॉल इंटरेक्शन होता है, फाइनली जब रियलिटी पे हम लोग बातचीत करते हैं, एंड देर आर ऑलरेडी द पर्सन हु हैज क्रिएटेड द ड्रामा बिफोर, डायलॉग भी बना चुका है. तो शायद व्हेन वी पिकअप, when we call and they pick up, and in a warm voice they say, hey, I have been meaning to call you. I'm really sorry. I have been dealing with family stuff and I just shut down for a bit. I missed you. So, what do you say, Niti?
I'm sorry, I started responding to
Yeah, I understand. I think we can finish the script as our the thing is said.
Oh, yes,
We
yes,
can
yes.
finish the whole thing, then we can keep answering our questions. It will be better.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No, I'm not
Yes.
talking about you. I'm just saying, yeah, go ahead, please.
But absolutely, when the call has something else, so what do? We pause,
Yeah,
we breathe. That in our mind, the exact conversation that we have already made, script तो हमारी तैयार है, but reality क्या होगी? Reality थोड़ी different होगी.
yeah.
तो अब हम लोग करेंगे क्या? Now again, it all depends कि हम लोग ने कितनी बार वो स्क्रिप्ट को रिहर्स कर लिया. जितनी बार रिहर्स कर चुके हैं, as I mentioned earlier, हमारी टोन, हमारी पिच, हमारे इमोशंस चेंज हो चुके हैं. Right, Chiradi?
Yeah. Right. And because we have rehearsed anger and betrayal in our minds, their warmth might even feel strange or harder to trust. We struggle to listen because we are still holding on to the story we created all by ourselves. What do you say?
उस टाइम पे when we are playing these conversations, At least I'll tell you why I can relate to it so much, because I've done this with myself.
Mhm.
और जब उस जोन में हम होते थे, उस कॉन्वर्सेशन को रीप्ले और आई वुड नॉट इवन से रीप्ले, क्योंकि एज समवन मेंशनड उसके डिफरेंट वर्जन हम बनाते थे। और जब वो हम इतनी बार कर चुके होते थे इमेजिनरी कॉन्वर्सेशंस, तो वो ना बहुत रियल लगने लगती। आई यूज्ड टू गेट सो engrossed in those conversations कि ऐसा लगता ही नहीं था कि they are not real. Later, I realized that these conversations had deep flaws. उसके इतने साइड इफेक्ट्स थे जो उस टाइम पे उस कॉन्वर्सेशन में रहते वक्त समझ में नहीं आए। द मेजर फ्लॉ इज इट्स इमोशनली ड्रेन, क्योंकि वो रियलिटी है ही नहीं। वी हैव क्रिएटेड इट इन आवर हेड and we are draining ourselves of our energy, and because emotions are negative, triggers are negative, जो हमारे दिमाग में चल रहा है वो एक तरह सा एक वॉर है, जो जिसमें there is no other player, it's us. कई बार हम लोग को ऐसा लगता है that we know the person so well कि हम लोग को पता है the person is going to respond in such way. So it's so negative, it is draining, it's completely draining. But yeah, we do it. At least I did it for a good time. That's what I can say.
I would like to add one more point. Basically, in any relationship, we need to decide what is the end outcome we want from that relationship. Again, I'm going to bring Neeti into my relationship. If my end outcome is to rekindle the friendship or resolve the conflict, I have to be, again, I want to quote my Guruji. He always says, be rigid with your desired outcome and be flexible with the process or the whatever formula or the steps that you're taking. What the problem happens is we are very rigid with the steps, but we are very flexible with the outcome. Just say, I have had clients who bolte, nay, I am like that only. I cannot change. That the other person has to change. So you are very rigid with your process, but you are very flexible with the outcome. वो अगर हमको स्वीकार करेगा तो नहीं करेगा, नहीं तो नहीं चाहिए. So that is the outcome. You are not rigid on it. So before resolving anything, we need to be very clear what is the outcome that we want from that particular relationship. Once we are very clear about the outcome and once we are very rigid about the outcome, we can always keep changing our steps, like that questionnaire which you had given. So once I'm fixed on that outcome, I can keep changing whether I want to change the first. If the first option is not working, okay, I can try the second option. If that is also not working, I can try the third option. So the options should be flexible because my outcome is fixed. नीति के दोस्ती मुझे चाहिए ही चाहिए. अगर ए में नहीं है तो बी में करेंगे, सी में नहीं है तो डी में करेंगे. One of the options will definitely work, no? So that's what I want.
Thank you, Bhanumati ji. And to this, I would like to add another perspective. दोस्ती चाहिए, but at what cost? Not at the cost of my self-respect. क्योंकि कोई भी relationship is a two-way street. It is a two-way street. Let's not forget that. If I am putting my 200% to a relationship, but if the other person is not ready, that means it's not a two-way street, and we have to back up.
No, there is a actually yes. Unconsciously, there is a hidden agenda. So Neeti is not giving any response. But I want Neeti's friendship at all costs. There is a agenda, hidden agenda behind it. If I really ask myself, why do I want Neeti's friendship? So there is an intention, positive intention behind it. Otherwise, why would I give 200% or 1000% if Neeti is giving 0%? Because I am going to get something out of it. So it is basically my agenda and not Neeti's agenda, which is making me give whatever percentage I want. That's why I said outcome हमको क्या चाहिए, that is should be beneficial to me, no? If my desired outcome is to have Niti's friendship at any cost, that means end result हमारे फायदे का होगा, है ना? So you need to decide what exactly you want from that relation.
Interesting. Okay, here I'll just pause. Pratibha, we can't hear you. Are you even trying to? I saw your message, but
Oh, Sai
please.
parents based relative has come. Hi,
Sorry, Bhanumati ji.
I said Sai parents based relative has come. I said hi to Abhijit.
Oh, hi to Abhijit. Yes, welcome, Abhijit. Pratibha, would you try and unmute yourself and speak, because what I can see is you're on mute. Some problem with the mic. Okay. So in that scenario, Pratibha, would you like to write it on chat, or would you like to log out and join again with the mic? I mean, I don't know if the problem is with the mic. How is it that you can sort it out? Please see. Okay, she'll write. Shiradi, please continue.
I'm wondering what to say. I'm lost.
Do you want any support? Do you want me to remind you where were we?
Yeah, where were you? Where
We
were
were
we?
just talking about the battle that we have already created in our head, and now we are ready for the conversation.
That's true.
So we have already
Excuse me.
fueled some anger, some hurt. कुछ चल रहा है.
Huh.
Hi, Niti. Can I add something,
Yeah, please
if
go
you
ahead.
don't mind?
Please go ahead.
Like you had mentioned a situation that you are helping a person, and that particular person is close to you, whatever. And then when you want some help in return, now this is again, we expect in return. So always in a relationship, it's not always necessary that as much as you give, you will get the same. Because I personally feel everybody is not made the same way. We are not mirrors out here. We are all human beings with different emotions and different responses to emotions. Sometimes, as I mentioned, like the person may not have the time to respond. They may be having their own issues, and probably they are not in that position or state of mind to help out, or they don't feel that they are capable to help you. So that can also be the situation. So it's not always like we're talking about, making this conversation in our head and getting angry and making that drama. We avoid that drama in our heads first. Uh, Otherwise, it can spill out when that particular person, whoever it is, connects with you back again. So that's what I feel. And yeah, and sometimes it so happens that this person may want to help you out, but maybe they are not, financially ready to help you. Maybe they have their own hassles in life. So you may have helped this person financially or whichever way, emotionally, but they cannot reciprocate in the same coin. It cannot happen always in the same coin. But that doesn't mean that our self-respect goes down. Sometimes we feel it that, oh, am I not important? But if we see it from that perspective, which is also difficult to think at that time because you're going through it. This is just what I wanted to add to whatever you have discussed based on the situation.
Thank you, Madhvi. Truly appreciate.
Yeah.
So whatever you said made a lot of sense. But again, I'll just try and say that our topic is pretty different. Our topic is not about the expectation. Our topic is not about the other person's responses. Our topic is basically that if there is an emotion that has been triggered, which is sadness, anger, or anxiety, and again, the sub emotions that are related to these three main emotions, we generally tend to have a conversation in our head before we go ahead and talk with a person in reality. So prior to that, how is it? First of all, what is it? What kind of conversation we have in our mind? Secondly, what it leads to in ourselves. As we mentioned, the shift of tone, attitude, just because of the imaginary conversation. Third, because we have already shifted the kind of emotional drain it causes us, emotional drain of energy. So, how is it that we can skip this part and have a heart to heart dialogue with the other person without having any assumptions, without creating any ground? So, that's the agenda of this entire podcast. But we truly appreciate that you people are bringing such different perspective also on this topic. Yes.
Even Madhvi, sorry, Prativa has a question. She says, my question is, when many times we shut our mind and listen to other person, but still not getting the response, then what? Probably she wants to ask there. Still, head voice is becoming louder and louder. Then what? Probably that's the question.
Yes, Pratibha, just hold this question.
Yeah. We have
And
already
we will
digressed.
Yes, so let us first, but I am definitely going to answer this question, and rather I'll ask others also to understand and take various perspective that can help you and all of us as well. So please hold on. Just stay with us and we'll get back on this question.
And
Yes.
yeah, when the real conversation start, we kind of fueled with anger, fear, and hurt, all based on assumptions, not facts. This rumination affects our peace of mind and makes us more negative towards others. Even before we have heard their side, probably that's part of Prativa's answer. We end up standing on ground built purely by imagination. Once that happens, we don't approach conversations with curiosity. We have already decided the outcome.
So basically, even when we are there with the decided outcome, we do not listen to them, is what we are trying to say.
Yeah.
Because again, we want to listen to what we have created in our head. The story that I have created, I want the other person to agree to that story first, and then maybe I listen to it. So when we do that, the relationship suffers. Instead of listening, what are we doing? We are trying to prove that I am correct. And what is it that we leave the other person with? Misunderstanding. The other person feels completely unheard, misunderstood, and they may even feel that we have made up our mind. हम लोग ये इंप्रेशन कहीं ना कहीं दे देते हैं कि ये इंसान तो सोच के आया हुआ है कि मैं गलत हूँ, तो फायदा क्या है इसके सामने बात करने का, क्योंकि मैं जो भी बोलूंगी सामने वाला बोलेगा कि तू गलत है। हमारे सारे दरवाजे बंद हो चुके हैं, हम लोग को इतना ही समझ में आया, तो सामने वाला शायद वो एफर्ट ही नहीं करेगा आपसे बात करने, अगर हम लोग ने ये इंप्रेशन दिया। राइट शरादी?
Yes. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever gone into a conversation not to listen, but just to confirm the story you have created in your mind? होता है ना ऐसे?
और जब ये होता है, so even if we do not intend to, what we do is sadly we start pushing people away, because somewhere the loyalty towards the person is not as much as the loyalty towards our own story. And before we continue, Abhijit wants to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah, on this point, can you guys hear me okay? Because
Yes.
I'm in an auto. Okay. On this one point, I'll just differ one thing here. There are going to be situations where you want to start the conversation to get something confirmed. There would be situations where you know that the conversation or the communication will not go ahead unless you get the confirmation of whatever it is in your mind. So it's I would say I would just tweak that in a way that it's depending on the situation. Of course, you are your best judge. You may want to go in to clarify something, but go ahead with the intention of clarification, which also then involves listening. But if you see, one cannot go with a complete clean slate in any communication, especially when, for example, let's say there is some misunderstanding between Chiradeep and I that has happened. Right? He said something, I said something, and let's say there has been no conversation for 10 days now, where we have been talking regularly. Now, while going and talking to Chirati, I'll first try and at least understand what happened, right? And that what happened, that inquisitiveness is something that has to be there.
Mm.
I understand and I agree कि I cannot go with a bias that चिरादीप ने कुछ किया होगा या मैंने कुछ किया होगा. I cannot go with either of them. But yes, a confirmation first is required that Chiradeep, this is what I noticed. Are you also feeling the same? And if that's the case, the conversation would shape up that way. If Chiradeep says, nahi yaar, main busy tha. Yeah, it just didn't occur to me. Okay, then it's my feeling. But it's good to clarify. So I would not agree with the clean slate in all communications and conversations. Some yes, but some get the clarity and then be open to listen. That's how I'm going to put it. That's it.
Yeah, that's right. तो बात क्या है कि we don't accept that conversation, and we can't accept that, I mean, response from the other person unless and until we get rid of the drama or dialogue I have already created, the imaginary thing. If I keep it aside and listen to the person, it's easier for me to understand Avijit's response to me. अगर आई एम बिजी, वो मुझे रेस्पॉन्स मिल रहा है, वो अगर मैं एक्सेप्ट करूं, कीपिंग असाइड मेरा ब्रेन ऑलरेडी क्या बना के रखा है, क्या पका के रखा है खाने के लिए, तो अनलेस आई डू दैट आई वोंट बी एबल टू गेट, आई मीन एक्सेप्ट द फैक्ट. वही बोला ना मैं, फैक्ट हम लोग एक्सेप्ट नहीं करते, अज्यूम कर देते हैं.
Correct.
अभिजीत इज लाइंग, अभिजीत इज सेइंग आई एम बिजी, बट दाल में कुछ काला है, समथिंग एल्स इज देयर, बिकॉज दैट इज हाउ आई हैव कुक्ड in my brain. What do you say, Niti?
I guess जो अभिजीत कह रहा है, it makes sense here.
Yeah.
But actually, that is what we are coming to. So,
Yeah,
Abhijit,
yeah.
we are also coming to that part कि intent set करनी जरूरी है,
Mm.
कुछ करना जरूरी है, but क्या करना जरूरी है, let's understand.
Yes.
So exactly the point that yes, we are not going to straight away create that drama. So if we want to skip that drama, what is it that we want to do? Accept it. Blank slate के साथ कोई भी नहीं जाता है, कुछ ना कुछ तो होता है, एक डर ही होता है कि कहीं जो मैं सोच रही हूँ वही सच ना. So yes, Chiradeep, let's come to the solution part also.
Correct, correct. But that's why pause, reflect, and process are key. These three things has to be there. It's natural to prepare for tough conversations, but the key is how we prepare. Now, that's very important. Instead of rehearsing anger, we need to process our emotions first. Ask yourself, what happened? Why does it hurt? ये reflection, ये pause and reflection, then it's not about overthinking, it's about understanding what's triggering us. ये process जरूरी है, right, Niti?
Exactly the point. So yes, even Pratibha, what you said is correct.
Mm.
It's not about overthinking, it's about understanding the process. Process is not overthinking. Overthinking is when we rehearse and we try to play other parts, other person's part also. So reflection brings clarity, not confusion. When we pause to reflect, we uncover the emotions at play. And when we enter the conversation, we are ready to empathize and listen. So pause and reflect. These are the two things that we, again, as Chiradeep mentioned, we are not here to advise, but this is what we came up with. जब हम लोग ये करते हैं, तो उसका solution क्या है या उसका other side क्या हो सकता है? Pause, reflect. Yes.
True. And like, but here's the difference. We enter the conversation not with expectations, but with openness. Our goal becomes understanding, not validation. हम लोग
Exactly.
हमेशा like validation करते रहते हैं, but it is necessary. Our goal should be like, जैसे भानुमति जी ने एक बात बोली. So outcome, I mean the goal has to be, we should be fixated to the goal. Should not be
Yes.
flexible about it. Process may be flexible, ways may be flexible, not the goal. नहीं हो रहा है तो goal change करेंगे नहीं है. So goal is communication में understanding है, not validation. ठीक है? Not every time. Yeah, please.
But वो goal हम दोनों का होना चाहिए. Two people in the
Absolutely.
conversation, in a relationship, if the goals are different, if both of us are on different
Correct.
pages, sorry, we are not aligned, then it becomes important to understand and part ways.
Yeah.
Then to continue doesn't make sense. So here, once we have goal can change if we have tried multiple times. That's what. Yes, Pratibha, we'll understand that in a while. So here, when we are understanding, what do? We create space for real connection. Now we'll not defend ourselves. We'll not confront the other person. We will have a dialogue. We'll have a conversation. We'll talk with openness, and that's the time when authentic listening will happen.
Yeah.
We'll listen and we will be present in that moment.
As
हम
we
लोग-
approach the, yeah, sorry.
No, that's what we will be present. Otherwise, we are present in our head, in our emotional state, not in that moment. But अगर हम लोग pause करेंगे, reflect करेंगे, empathize करेंगे, then that's the time when we listen and we'll be present.
क्लोज करने का टाइम हो गया एपिसोड का. So we want to
Oh,
hear
yes.
from you.
Okay.
We value your thoughts and reflections. You know, it's necessary. We are already getting your
Sorry, I
responses.
didn't realize. I'm surprised to see it's already 9. That's the
Yeah.
reason. I'm so sorry. It's already 9. Yes.
Where there any moments that made you pause and think, or maybe you have some questions you would like to ask us. You have already asked though. Feel free to share your feedback in the chat. Your insight help us shape better discussions and give us a deeper understanding of what matters to you. You all have been doing it. So those who have not been responding, so can actually respond now. We are here to build a conversation. So let's keep it going. We will take a few moments to hear your thoughts. Yes, Niti.
Anumati ji has already raised her hand. So let's begin.
I think you can finish.
Actually, as you were saying, Niti, the two persons may have different goals.
No, sorry.
you-
I said that when we are in a relationship, we should have a common goal. So if
Yes,
like
that's what I'm saying. If A and B are having two different goals, and if they are not having the same goal, then we have two options. One is we have to think whether we want to stay in that relationship or not. That choice is ours. And if we are not doubtful, we can do a cost benefit analysis, because I cannot force the other person to have the same goal in the relationship that I have. So I have to take the call that both the goals are different, and the other party is not willing to come to a common goal. So now I need to decide. I can do a cost benefit analysis and come to a decision. So suppose after doing cost benefit analysis, I come to a decision. Okay, as you said, since we don't have a common goal, I decide to part. It is not we decide to part, because the drama is in my head. So I decide to part, because उसका partner का क्या drama, internal drama है. Fortunately, I don't know. If I start reading the mind, it's a different story. Then there is another choice I have. In order to bring both the goals to the same page, I have to use my communication style and which I have found very effective in my relationships. That assertiveness communication, which you call I statement, I messages. So you can convey your opinion, your viewpoint using that I statement, then with reasonableness and respect. So the other person is able to see your point of view, and then they can give a call whether they want to come to the same page or they don't want. Then again, after that, you get a second chance to decide whether you want to stay in the relationship or not, because there are different things at stake when say husband wife relationship. Not only husband wife, in any relationship there are different stakes are there. We just can't say नहीं है एक ही पेज में नहीं है तो I have to leave. No, there are we have to do a cost benefit analysis basically, because why I want the relationship, because I said there is a positive intention behind it. So it is my intention. If I have a positive intention, I'm going to get benefit out of that relationship. I'll have to realign my expectation. I have to do cost benefit analysis. I have to do the effective communication. All that I have to do because agenda mera hai, right?
Absolutely, Bhanumati ji. You brought another deep perspective to the entire discussion, and I completely agree to what you said. So it's not quickly parting away. It is also understanding and building a common ground. That's what I put in the chat as well to Pratibha. That the goals might change, but whether we are ready to bring and create a common ground or not. Because again, relationships are two-way street. So we need to have, otherwise it's going to be a lot of suffering the way I see it, and I might be completely wrong here. So whether we are able to create a common ground and walk together, that's a question that we need to ask, and we need to figure it out. Yes, Abhijit.
Yeah, I just to add to what Bhanumati and you said, there is a limit to everything. So let's make sure that when we are doing it, right, as Bhanumati rightly said, there's ways to come to a common ground, but kab tak is something that we have to decide. And for every person it is different, it is very subjective. I might be a either a very patient person who is ready to give it years together to do that, get hurt and still keep doing it, or a very impatient person. So जो qualities है उस पे work करके, and that's how it's going to be, is how I feel it. So yes, ultimately देखो, if nothing happens we parting ways तो है ही, but उसके पहले what have you tried is the thing that we are talking about here, right? And I guess that's it from me, but there are a lot of things that Pratibha is saying here. Listen to other person multiple times and all this. Half-hearted. Yeah, so the only thing I'm going to say, if that's okay, Pratibha, is on your question is, when you say your voices become louder and louder, that's the title of this particular podcast, right? Drama before dialogue. So even if it's not drama per se, but you are, or rather we are making our voices louder for us as well as the other person. So it's ultimately our voice. वो सामने वाले तक कितना पहुंचता है is something that we have no control on. हम अंदर से चिल्लाते रहे या फिर उसके सामने चिल्लाते रहे. The point is there is a limit to everything again. That threshold is something that we all need to understand for ourselves. Is all I feel. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Abhijit, Bhanumati ji, both of you. Now here, quickly, just a quick recap of our takeaways. That is, pause before assuming. First takeaway, pause before assuming. Recognize when your mind is spinning stories. Reflect, take time to process your emotions before jumping into a conversation. Third, empathy over expectation. The goal is understanding, not validation, and as we have discussed that multiple times. The last takeaway, openness leads to connection. Approach conversation with curiosity and openness, not preconceived notion. So these were the takeaways that I wanted to highlight.
And the
Yes.
fifth takeaway on all those four: know your limits, know yourself, till what time and what extent you're going to do all these things. That's it.
Perfect. Yes, we have added one more to that. Thank you, Abhijit, for that. A perfect one.
That's very much needed.
Yes. And not to forget another term that we have learned today, MBA. Yes. Bhanupati ji, give us the full form.
Man Bachao Andolan. Of course,
Man
it belongs.
Bachao Andolan.
Of course, word terminology was given by my guru, Sri Ravi Shankar ji. So
Yes.
he uses this very often. Save your mind at any cost. He keeps saying, save your mind at any cost, save your mind at any cost.
All right. Yes, Chiradeep. Anything that you would like to add here? I hope not, because it's too late.
No, it's too late actually. And thank you so much for summarizing it beautifully. And Avijit rightly added limiting that knowing where's the limit is very important. And I just wanted to differ on something, but it's okay. It's already late. I don't want to start a conversation again. So I can keep the conversation for my next episode. Maybe we will come up with new topics, and you all are open to suggest your ideas and topic ideas. Suggest something, either of us. I can see you people are more connected to Niti, so you can drop in a message and topic ideas, so we can cook up with something new for our upcoming podcasts. So for tonight, good night from my side. Niti?
Yes. And just in case you want to rewatch, or you feel that somebody in your circle is going through something similar and you would want them to see these podcasts, I would request Chiradeep to kindly share our YouTube channels, which is I Listen Space as well as Kizuna, and we'll share please share the links in the chat, and we would love for you to subscribe and follow us, stay updated on future episodes. And that's it. It's your support that allows us to keep these conversations alive and growing.